Hello, and Scott McKenzie here, owner and founder of home care agency Blueprint. We are a consulting company that helps you start and scale your very own home care agency. And today, I've been having Peter go through the course at Home Care Agency Blueprint, and he's having coaching with us. And he has some questions on a Gantt chart of a home care agency launch. So today we're going to dive into what it looks like to launch your home care agency and what the different topics are as far as setting up insurances and everything on preparing your business plan and getting the licensing and everything that you need to officially get your agency started from zero to licensed and operating. And so thank you for being here today, Peter. And he is going to share his screen and ask some questions, and we'll just go through this together. And hopefully you guys get some valuable nuggets out of the video today. So thanks again for being here today, Peter.
For sure. Sharing now, and I will add to what you opened with, Scott, that I'm in Texas, so some of what I'm going to share is unique to Texas, but every state's a little bit different. So what I did here, just a big picture, you can see my key up here, like critical path stuff in progress, completed. I mean, business formation, legal formation was on the critical path, but it's done. So we can move on to the next critical path thing. That just happened this past week. So pretty excited about that. But you can see here, broke it down in some categories. We'll walk through each one: education, business formation, application. There's a bunch in Texas you got to do for that. Insurance and systems, advertising, marketing, carrier. And then I broke it into pre-application. And then what's this period of calling pre-license, right? Like I don't have a license yet. Now in Texas, one of the unique things is you cannot tell anybody, you can't talk to caregivers or clients before you get your license. And there's some pretty stiff fines if you do. So you'll see some of the stuff that I have that I would love to get started on, and I can't. Because I don't want to have any fines when we're trying to get an awesome business established here. And then I defined a section here I call soft launch before we do a lot of heavy advertising, just like working some of the warm leads and things that we may have, and then do a full kind of launch with a bunch of advertising and things like that. All right, so starting at the top, obviously there's education. And I am going through the blueprint. This is where you start, education, right? Also, Texas has, a lot of statutes. Had to read through all of those thick statutes. And then something I just completed over the weekend, part of your application process, you have to take some little quizzes, I guess, pre-surveys, they call pre-survey. Completed those on Sunday, so really happy about that. But it all starts with education, right? So I feel good about what Texas requires, and now I'm just learning the details of doing the business. And I developed this thing basically from everything I've learned from the coaching and from the course. So business formation, I mean, this is something that you would do in any business, right? I built out a financial model, which we have another video we did on that. And to do that financial model, I had to understand how I was going to staff it, and we have another video on that. So all that was kind of really good coaching and education to actually get some comfort level with what the financial model is going to look like. And then in parallel with that, I was talking to my lawyer, getting my LLC formed, doing a DBA filing, making sure all my names that I wanted to use were good to go, and all that came through actually faster than I thought. Originally, my lawyer was going to say it was going to take to the end of August. So I'm 3 weeks ahead of schedule, which is awesome. And you can see here, just for people watching, I did not start even thinking about this stuff until the beginning of July. I mean, that's when I think I first reached out to you, Scott. So it's only taken a little over a month to get my business formed, to get the names all locked down, get the website started. We're working on that, get the bank account, got that set up yesterday. So it's moving pretty fast. I do want to get this dial pad thing set up so I have a phone number, because I need that for my application. So that's probably my next item to do, so I can get the application kind of squared away. I also, one of the things that you need to put on your application and for your website and for Google My Business is have a location. So I did check out office space stuff. I had to actually do that first so that I could put that address on my business filing with the state. So that was a critical path item as well. But that was pretty easy. I went
Mm-hmm.
with a Regis office space and got that lined up. Um, so yeah, where I'm at now is getting the application finished off, and then it will take some time to process it. We've heard, as you know, Scott, varying reports on how long that takes to process in Texas. I'm allocating 5 weeks for it now. It could take 8, could take 10. I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
that is definitely a critical path item, and I can't do these things over here on the right until that milestone is reached. So that's going to be a big one. The other thing I'll say about that is in Texas, once you get your license, you need to be ready to rock and roll because they give you 6 months to get your first client, or they'll just shut you down saying you're not serious about it, right? So you really
Yeah.
gotta be ready to go. Now, one of the things that a little too far, um, you can see here, I have take a couple weeks when I can remember I can't talk it to anybody until I get my license. But once I get the license, I'm thinking it's going to take 2 or 3 weeks to get that first client kind of lined up and in the door. And once I do that, one of the other things that's kind of odd about Texas is once you get your first client, you got to let the state know you have your first client, and then they can come out to your business unannounced at any time over the next 6 months and survey. They basically call it a survey. They come in, they're going to look at all your policies and procedures, all your employee records, pretty much everything. So you got to be ready for that too. And there's a few requirements to be ready for that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, one thing I want to mention is just everybody watching is, education. I like, Peter, how you have in there, reviewing the statutes along with, the course. You're getting familiar with Blueprint's course on what the home care agency operations is all about, but reading those statutes is great. I know when California came up with the licensing in 2016, that's exactly what I did. It was, I think 110 pages or something, but I just finally I went through everything because that was also a new thing for California. And it's the best thing to do that because then you are familiar with exactly what the requirements are. So, you're not missing anything. You're confident on, what you need to set up and how you need to set it up. So, of course, here at Home Care Agency Blueprint, we have programs where we can help you along the lines. We have a done for you package too, where we can essentially do all this on your behalf. But yeah, you're doing a really good job explaining everything, Peter. So I like how this is all organized.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, the statutes are really important. Just going through those and then having to take this pre-survey, I learned a lot of things I didn't
Yeah.
know about policies that I had to have in the employee handbook. Like one of the ones that kind of caught me off guard is you got to have a policy for emergencies. Like, I don't know, if there's a tornado or a hurricane or something. Well,
Yeah.
how do you handle that, right? You got to have a procedure and a process. So it was a lot.
Hmm.
All right, and then getting into insurance and systems, we have a whole video on systems, so I won't go in that too detail. But the business insurance, I think you had recommended hpso.com.
Yeah.
I talked to them briefly, but said I wasn't ready to get going yet. So they said, okay, call us back when you are. But what do you want to add about HPSO?
Yeah. So HPSO is specifically a healthcare providing insurance company. They work only with healthcare companies, nursing organizations, of course, home care, home health care. And yeah, they're very reasonable. What's great about them is it's very easy to get a quote online, to start like getting your pricing. And then they also have a payment plan where you can do that monthly. So you pay the first and last month, I believe, and then just 10 payments are divided out. And the way that they work on charging is by head count. So, for example, like two employees is something around $60 to $80 a month for this insurance. It's very, very reasonable. They also have add-ons. So like you can add on errors and omissions as the owner. There's all kinds of other coverages that are that you can add on if you want to just extra protect yourself. But yeah, it gives you that $1 in $3 million policy for that suffices the requirement for licensing, and that's for any state. So yeah, HPSO is what's recommended there.
Yeah. And then the next one was then you got to apply for all your long-term care insurance. Now, in a state where you can start getting stuff done ahead of getting your license, I'm not even sure you can do this because when I reached out to Bickham Healthcare, they said that I needed to give them my license and my business formation documents, to get started. So that's why that's pushed after that license milestone. But I did reach out to him and got a quote for, I think, several $1,000s to cover all of the long-term care insurances that I would probably be encountering in Texas. And I got that stretching. I think they have like a 4 month, 3 or 4 month kind of 3 months kind of time.
Yeah.
All that set up. So it's going to take some time to get all that in place. And in the meantime, I guess, you didn't have this, I'm assuming, when you first started. It's just, hey, it's cash only, right? Up front.
So the long-term care, some of there's two different types of insurance. There's the long-term care is kind of like integrated with the private insurances as well. With Golden Age, we accepted long-term care, which you didn't have to even have BitCam credentialize you for that. That's just sending in a W-9 form, which is like a tax form for your business. And that LTC company specifically would want to have like a copy of, your license and whatnot. And then BitCam, what their bread and butter is they help you get credentialized with like the big insurance companies. So like Blue Cross Blue Shield. I know over here, like Cal Optima is a really big one in California. There's another one called Inland Hope or something. It's a huge insurance. Veterans, they can help you get in with the veterans insurance as well. So that's what's really, really nice about BitCam. And yeah, they do take about, it's Medicare and Medicaid is 60 days. The NPI number is almost immediate. And then the rest of the insurances. So it sounds like in Texas, they probably have, I know California here, the most you can get is like 18. Sounds like if it's around several grand in Texas, it would be that many insurances. But the best thing about that is then you can go to any facility and you can say, here's a list of all the insurances that we accept, and you're likely to get more referrals than if you don't accept any insurance. And I think that's what hurt the growth of Golden Age. We still were a very successful company, and I think we would have been triple or quadruple the size if we had accepted insurances. So I highly recommend, I know it's a startup cost up front, I just highly recommend getting those insurances sooner than later. And yeah, that's really, I think that's all I have to say on BitCam. But yeah, they're really great.
All right. And then yeah, of course, we're getting our website set up now. WellSky will come a little closer to license being issued, and just getting some other things done, getting our CMS and learning management system set up for when we're ready to hire employees. That's all in the works. Detailed marketing plan. I mean, part of my strategy, and I know you have a video on private or franchise. Of course, this is all about private, but one of the things I learned when I was checking out franchises is referrals is the way to go. I also watched your video on your massively failing postcard campaign.
Yeah. That was a fun one.
But referrals is the way to go, right? If you can get those relationships developed. I mean, on top of the Google and all that. But so I do plan on getting out in the community and talking to a lot of people and doing some talks with, whoever will listen to me. I will talk to them.
Yeah, you never know where the referrals are going to come from. I think the biggest challenge for people is just getting in that mindset of knowing that when you're going out there, when you're joining Chamber of Commerce and meeting with people, that to not have that mindset that it's a waste of time, because it's not an immediate gratification. It never is. No one ever wants to hear that, but it just isn't. I mean, there's been times where I've met with a social worker at Kaiser, I know at with Golden Age, and we started getting like we got referrals from other sources, but then all of a sudden she popped up like 2 years later and started sending us a bunch of business.
Nice.
And we weren't even following up. I mean, because I was working on so many referral sources and I didn't have a dedicated system, which I teach now in the course. That's something just like the failing postcard campaign that I learned. It really is important to follow up. And just like even someone like her at Kaiser, it would have been good to once a month. We probably would have started driving referrals a little faster. But I think what happened there was the agency that they were using, they discontinued. And all of a sudden we were next on the list. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I just want to encourage people, for people that are watching, that it really is, it's great because once when you get out there and just get your name just to more people, it really is how much they like you too. Like, I'm sure everyone's a likable person. I know you are, Peter. So people will like you and they'll want to know your vision, your mission. They like to know that, okay, you're the one piloting the business, meaning you're the owner. I will caution eventually, even when you have the revenue coming in, to hire a marketer, you really got to have someone that either has a book of business or maybe just has a deep relationship with the community, because otherwise you're going to basically be spending all this payroll for someone to go out and do almost what you could be doing if you just structure your schedule. Even if you went once every 3 weeks to some type of event,
Yeah.
and then got connected. That's kind of like the shortcut way. I don't even like to use the word shortcut, but like that's the most efficient way. If you feel like you don't have a lot of time, where as you start to scale the business and get 5, 10, 15, 20 clients, when you're staffing cases and you're hiring caregivers, you have new referrals coming in, you're not really thinking, oh, I got to go to this event this afternoon when you're wanting to staff a case type of thing. But like once when you have all the players kind of in place, like you have the structure for the business and you have someone that can help you hire the caregivers, whether that's a virtual assistant or even someone in the office, or I know, Peter, in this case, your wife can help with some things, so like, yeah, you just have a system in place, but you can always carve out an hour. It would really make a big difference just to go to one of these events, and you have a feel afterwards. Like I think to go with the agenda too, like have it in your mind, like you're there to talk about your business, but you're also there on learning about what other people are doing and maybe how you can benefit their business and collaborate with them. I think it's really important to have that giving mindset too, and not just like get, because I know it's challenging for like a lot of people starting any business, but these home care agencies, like they just want a referral, right? But like if they go in with like they almost don't need the referral, but they just want to see how they can contribute to other businesses, people are automatically going to want to see how they can help you. And they might say, well, I have a friend that, they know a doctor that actually might want to meet with you directly, and then you go meet with them and they happen to start giving you referrals just because they like you and they like your business and whatnot.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the rest of this as well, I'm waiting on the license, you can see, is just preparing, my referral list that I'm going to go after once I can start talking about the business, preparing ad campaigns, job postings, caregiver onboard training. That's important. I got to have that ready to go. I did talk to Bands of Hands this week, and we talked on the technology video we did about Bands of Hands, whether you start at the beginning or wait. And I said, I think on the video, I'm going to do it right up front so I can have them worry about onboarding people and I can focus on revenue generating activities and referrals and booking clients. And the other thing that I wanted to add to that we didn't say on that call was, one of the things I like about Bands of Hands from the get-go is they're going to cover caregiver health insurance, health, dental, vision, all that stuff, as well as a 401k program. So that becomes like almost a part of your recruiting for caregivers, right? To get that kind of stuff set up on my own at startup timeframe would be challenging, so I like that about them.
Yeah, and I know like for California, if you have more than 5 employees, you have to offer retirement and 401k and all the insurances. Starting in 2025, even if you have 1 employee, they're going to require it. So that's a huge thing with Bands of Hands. They're awesome.
Yeah, and the other thing, just for people listening, they're going to help me create the manual that I need for, to have all the policies for policies to be compliant with the state. It's part of what I'm going to present to the state when they come out and do a survey. So that's a big help on their part as well.
Yeah.
So then you can see, I mean, I'm getting it's prep, waiting for this license to come in. And then once that license hits, then we can go get our long-term care insurance. We can start talking to people about it. We can start posting jobs, and we can actually start onboarding people in preparation for first client. So
yeah,
I think the next, month is a lot of stuff to do that's not really starting the business, but just getting ready. And that's important, just to be ready.
Yeah, there's a company also in this stage here. Once when the license is issued, there's a company called Yext, and I think I maybe mentioned this to you earlier, yes. Peter. But yeah, for those listening, yeah, it basically is. There's other companies like it, but essentially what it is it puts your business directory on over 200 different directories. It's around $500 a year, and yeah, it's pretty amazing. So like, what I'll say is having the same business description, business address, name, everything is consistent on 200 plus directories. That's going to really help give you a boost to just get your name out there and get your SEO going. This is kind of candid on a side note, but I just discovered this company called Box. Let me see if I could find it quickly. Yeah, it's basically called, it's like Box something PR, but basically it's a PR company, so you can even Google it. But even like having a few like PR articles written about you, about like the vision, maybe Peter, like you and your wife, about like the vision of what you guys want to do in the community with this business and whatnot, and getting a few of those like written will help your Google SEO too. That's something I like just recently learned. I played around a little bit of that with Golden Age Companions years ago. We would use Fiverr, Fiverr, where you can pay like someone on there to make a press release for you, and they'll even publish it. So you can even use somebody off there. This Box something PR company, they like are more, I don't want to say they're more legit, but it's like they guarantee their work. Where on Fiverr, it's like you don't always know. They'll give you deliverable, but anyway, I'm just saying, like, between doing the directory listings, the 200 plus getting a few like press releases written about you, you can even put that on the website and stuff. And this kind of comes to mind too, is like, Peter, if you and your wife jump on a video similar to this and it could be candid, but just something about like you guys maybe sitting on the couch talking about how maybe about the vision of the business, or just something about like doing a home care agency in general, and like your commitment to the community, and having that on the website and that could be like almost like front and center, like the second half fold of the website would be really valuable, because like that's a video people feel like they already know you. So those are some like other like nuggets that I recently have discovered. But we're always like rolling out different things for our clients, as we come up with some stuff too. So
those are all great ideas. I'm definitely gonna start doing some of those. I put the note in here about Yext. I forgot that one.
Yeah, you really wanna just get because like what I did with Golden Age back then was I literally created my own. I just found the different directories. So like agingcare.com, caring.com, care.com, there's a bunch of them that is not included on Yext, which is fine. You can just create separate accounts, but Yext covers like the majority of them. And then Google My Business, I believe, is a separate one too. But Yext is really nice because it gets your SEO out there. It gets your name on the map in the area that you're in. So if people are looking you up, they're gonna likely find you. And it's not going to be right away, but it'll just show like established at some point. So.
But you're right. I mean, that's all stuff I can't really do until I get my license in Texas, because that's the kind of activity that will get you fined.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so then I'm calling like the first couple months kind of like soft launch. And then I was gonna do like get established, get a client or two, get some employees, and then do some chamber kind of event type stuff. Is that what you recommend, or would you think I should do that sooner?
I think that the chamber sign-on should be sooner. I think that you should at least
Yeah.
just pop your head in and meet, and maybe even if you went to like one luncheon at the very beginning, just to just so you can kind of timestamp that, like, oh, I was here in October or September. And then if you wanted to wait 2 months to like come back and start really digging into going to the different events, but I would get integrated with the chamber because you never know, they might tell you, oh yeah, we have, and that's what I would do is I would ask them for a list of events, and given that it's a chamber that's there's a good rep there, they should be able to look at your business and say, okay, for home care, these are the different events that I would definitely go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah.
And then I was going to wait a little bit on Google ad marketing too to allow some of those kind of local organic clients to generate some revenue to pay for the ads, you know? We're really
Yes.
trying to bootstrap this business, not kind of
I would wait on the Google ads. Those are the thing is the Google ads is it's not like burning a hole in your pocket, but it also is like you may spend five, six, 700, 1,000 a month for a few months and get no ROI until like those clients might convert later. And there's like a warm up phase. I mean, it's even with Blueprint, we do Facebook ads, and at the time, like there's a warm up until more and more people, and now we have like enough followers and people that know about us, but sometimes it's good just to get your name out there in that way. But yeah, with Google ads, that's something that thank God, we have AI and stuff nowadays, and I think it's finding the right tactic. But the nugget I'll share here on Google ads is getting on the phone with a Google ad rep, and really just instead of hiring an agency to do it for you, just ask like, okay, how can you help me onboard my agency to be, and they'll help you. Believe it or not, like they'll actually, because they want you to be successful. And then the other thing is, I don't think it's launched yet, but Google has a thing called local service, like
yeah.
local services for ads, and it's not rolled out in home care yet. If and when it does, I talked to Google, I don't know, 6 months ago, and it wasn't rolled out yet. They didn't have it on the map quite yet, and they didn't know when it was coming, if it was going to be, but they did say home care services might be in their local marketing campaign. And if that's the case, that would be amazing. So the way it works, instead of you paying for ads and clicks to go out there, they charge you per phone call. And it's
Mm.
local, which is amazing, because if you're charged, even if it's 30, 40, $50 per phone call coming in, it's essentially someone inquiring for services. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
that's something just to kind of keep an eye on when
Okay.
they launch it. I feel like they will roll it out at some point. They're going to need to at some point, but yeah, that's something that's pretty cool about Google Ads.
Well, I'm sure you'll do a video on it when it happens. So.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like everything to kind of get ready to get a license, get the license, get the first clients in the door and stuff like that. And then I did another section here, kind of thinking down the road on what I'm calling business growth activities. So at some point, I'm not going to be able to do all this on my own. I think that's probably first quarter next year. I'm not sure. So, expanding the systems, getting additional software like Hierology. We talked about that on our systems call. Like, yeah, probably don't want to do that right away just because of the cost, but once you get some momentum, you can pay for that. And it's going to help out. And then getting staff. And we talked about that on our staffing video. Like I have mine broken down into what can I do with offshore or near shore type remote resources, VAs, what do I need people here locally to help go out and do in-home assessments so that I don't have to do them, who can help with the financial management of the business, and then who can help, manage clients and do case management, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that's
great.
all next year, but that's the goal.
Yep. Yeah, that's great. That's perfect timeline. It's well said, and yeah, this is really, it's very organized. So yeah, that's the fun thing about this business. I tell people, like, as that really the most challenging is getting it up and running, getting your first couple clients. But once when you get rolling, it just gets easier and easier. And in my opinion, I noticed like about like the first like 8 to 10 clients was the most challenging. And then after that, it actually became easier because you just have more caregivers, more contacts, more resources in it. I mean, call it for whatever you want to call it, but when you have money coming in too, that makes things a lot easier because you can pay for stuff and you're not stressed
Yeah.
on like, you can
Yeah.
say, okay, let's throw 1,000 on Google Ads and see how it goes. And obviously you want to structure right, not just literally like just go blindsided, but um it really helps, when you have that revenue coming in and then you can just allocate more stuff. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Well, that's all
good
I had
deal.
for today.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Peter. And for those of you watching, if you feel like you got some value out of this video, please like and subscribe to my channel here. And if you are looking to start and scale your very own home care agency, there's a link in the description below. So you can go ahead and click on that link and book a call with me and my team, and we can talk with you about what it looks like to start up your very own home care business. So, all right. Well, thanks again, Peter, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.